Well, representatives from nearly 200 countries are meeting in Poland to address threats posed by climate change. The envoys are discussing the impacts of global warming. They have called on all countries to take decisive measures against what they called urgent threats. And this as thousands of people have rallied in several European cities. And the Belgian capital, ralliers urge authorities to meet the commitments set in Paris in 2015. Organizers of the protest said they were taking to the streets to claim their right to adjust climate policy. The protests come as signatories to Paris Climate Change Treaty agreed to take some measures to limit temperature rises to avert runaway global warming. The United States, however, left the international accord in a unilateral move. Crossing over to Ontario, joined by Jason Unruhe, political commentator and analyst. Thank you so much for being with us. Well, what do you make of, first of all, the actual meeting that's being held to address climate change itself, and also the protests that we see are surrounding it and dealing with this conference?
Well, I think that there's a very important thing taking place. I mean, this dealing with global warming is a very serious part of the ongoing situation that the entire world is facing right now. And this wouldn't be such a large problem if there had not been so many decades of denial that there was a problem, that global warming has been taking place. Even right now, even as though we are bombarded with wildfires, with tsunamis, with all kinds of environmental disasters that have been taking place across the world, there are still many, many in very high positions of power who are in still absolute denial of mankind's cause of global warming, something that is serious enough that it could lead to the extinction of life on the planet. People who have taken to the streets to demand action against countries and governments who simply deny this reality is wholly justified. Many people are worried not just for the future of their children, not having a planet to live on, but it seems like global warming is something that could potentially wipe out all of humanity in just our lifetimes as well, within the next, 5 to 10 years. That's how bad, this is how serious things are getting, and there is still an adamant amount of denial about this entire situation. So people are going to take to the streets because they don't want to see the end of humanity. Now, many European governments are still of the position that there is no real threat going on.